Hello friends, today I am going to explain the next life process, that is transportation. First we will study about the transportation in human beings. Human beings में यदि हम transportation की बात करें, then we have well defined system and we can study in two headings. One is blood circulatory system and second is lymphatic system. When we talk about blood circulatory system, which is the major transportation system in human beings, it consists of blood, blood vessels and human heart. Today I am going to explain human heart with the help of this diagram. If we go to the study about human heart, first we have to know where it is present. It is present in the thoracic cavity between the lungs. And for the protection, it is surrounded by double membrane that is called pericardium. And in between the membrane, there is a fluid. What is the function of fluid, or what is the benefit of these two membrane filled with fluid? It protects the heart from the friction and from the jerk. So it is a protective in nature. Now come to the internal structure of heart. Inside the heart is divided into four chambers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of these four chambers, the upper two chambers are smaller than the lower two chambers. The name of the upper two chamber is atrium or auricle. Atrium is a singular word. When we talk about the plural, it has two atria. Next, lower two chambers are called ventricles. Now, according to their position, we have given the name, like this side is left atrium and left ventricle. This side is right atrium and right ventricle. When you have to draw the diagram or write the name, it will work as a mirror image. Like you have your right hand, it will have left side of the heart, and where you have your left hand, it has right side of the heart. Why this kind of arrangement is there? Because heart is present on ventral side of the human body. इस साइड में हार्ट प्रेजेंट है. व्हेन वी हैव टू स्टडी द हार्ट, देयर इज अ कट, देन वी आर स्टडिंग द हार्ट. नाउ दिस इज द हार्ट and now it is okay. This is my left side, left atrium and left ventricle. This is my right side, right atrium and right ventricle. Now to study it of the other one, we have to turn. So now it becomes the mirror image. This is the right side, but the heart side is the left. This is my left hand, but the side of the heart is right. I hope you get to know why we are writing the parts of the heart in a mirror image condition. Okay, so this is the left side of the heart, this is the right side of the heart. Now, all upper chambers of the heart and lower chambers of the heart are separated from each other with the help of septum. The chambers atria are separated from the respective ventricle also, but they open through some opening present here. These openings are guarded by the valve. Valve, if we study the left side of the heart, the opening of left atrium into the left ventricle is guarded by bicuspid valve. As this valve are present between atrium and ventricle, that's why it is also called AV valve or atrioventricular valve. Now next, right atrium also open into the right ventricle, and that opening is also guarded by a valve. Same, the common name we can use, atrioventricular valve, but it has three flaps. That's why it is called tricuspid valve. So the opening of auricles into ventricle are guarded by valve, atrioventricular valve, and specifical name are bicuspid and tricuspid on the basis of how much flaps they have. Next, the ventricles. Ventricles open into the respective or pump the blood into the respective blood vessels, and again these blood vessels, the opening of blood vessels are also guarded by the valve, and these valves are called, both the blood vessels have the valve, and these valves are called semilunar valves. Okay, now the valves are supported by these fibers that are called chordae tendineae. These fibers are called chordae tendineae, and These are the internal structure of human heart. I am going to repeat it again in a quick way. 4 chamber, upper 2 are smaller than the lower 2 chamber. Upper one are called left auricle and right auricle. Yeah, left atrium and right atrium. Lower one is left ventricle and right ventricle. They have the right atrium receive the blood with the help of largest blood vessels, largest vein, that is called vena cava. Here two vena cava is here represented here. This vena cava brings the blood from the upper body part. This vena cava is called inferior vena cava and it brings the blood from the lower body part. So right atrium receives the blood from all body parts. It is deoxygenated blood through vena cava. Right atrium open into the right ventricle through an opening, and this opening is controlled by a valve known as tricuspid valve. Come to this right ventricle will pump the blood into the largest into the pulmonary arc, because this is the deoxygenated blood and need to be purified. Okay, so this will pump the blood into this blood vessel that is called pulmonary arc, and it will bring the blood towards the lungs for purification, and this opening again is guarded by semi-lunar valve. Now left atrium, it receives the blood from the lungs through the pulmonary veins and it is oxygenated blood. The oxygenated blood will enter into the left ventricle through the opening that is guarded by bicuspid valve or atrioventricular valve. Now left ventricle will pump the blood into the aorta, the largest artery. The largest artery is called aorta. It pumps the blood and the opening is again guarded by the semi-lunar valve. This aorta will divide into arteries and provide the blood to each and every part of the body. Okay, this is the internal structure of human heart. Now I am going to the blood when pumped into the blood vessels through the ventricles, then the ventricles will relax and they are empty. So there can be the backflow of the blood from these respective blood vessels. To stop the backflow of the blood, there is closing of these semi-lunar valve, and closing of these valves creates second heart sound, that is duck. Next come to the blood flow from the heart. How it blood flow from the heart, as we have discussed already that it has the upper two chamber called as auricles or atria. Now in the right atrium, blood poured by the two vena cava which bring deoxygenated blood from all body parts, and left atrium receive the blood through the pulmonary veins. This is the oxygenated blood. When these atria are full of blood, it contracts and blood is pumped into the respective ventricle through the openings. When these ventricles are full of blood, then the ventricle contracts, and at the time of contraction of ventricle, the opening between atria and ventricle become closed. This is closed with the help of AV valve. These valves close the opening and this creates the first heart sound, that is called lub. Now as the ventricles contract, the blood is pumped into the respective blood vessel. In the right ventricle, it has deoxygenated blood and it should be purified. So this ventricle contracts and blood is pumped into the pulmonary arc, which divides further and brings the blood to the left and right lungs for the purification. On the other hand, left ventricle, when it contracts, then blood is pumped into the largest artery, that is called aorta, which divide into arteries, then arteries divide into arterioles and capillaries and supply oxygenated blood to each and every cell of the human body. In this way, blood is flow from the heart. This is a general concept about the blood flow from the heart. Now we can observe that there are complete separation between deoxygenated and oxygenated blood in the human beings due to the presence of 4-chamber valve. why it is necessary or what is the significance of it. It means complete separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. By this separation, each and every cell of the human body is getting pure blood or oxygenated blood, which is necessary to provide energy. What is the use of energy? Definitely for the activity, but in case of human beings or mammals, this energy, high amount of energy is required to maintain the body temperature. As we have a constant body temperature, that is 37 degrees Celsius or 98.4 degree Fahrenheit. It doesn't depend on the surrounding temperature. The surrounding temperature may be 4 degree during the winters, it may be 40 degree during the summers, but human being has a constant body temperature, that is 37 degrees centigrade, and that maintenance of the temperature required energy, and this 4-chambered heart and supply of pure blood, oxygenated blood, is helpful to provide that kind of energy. So this kind of flow from the human heart is also known as double circulation. Double circulation, what do you mean by this word? Double means two, means double circulation, that there is need the movement of blood from the heart twice to complete one cycle. Blood has to move twice from the heart to complete one cycle. How it moves twice from the heart? Let's see the blood flow from the heart again. We will start from the right side of the heart. Right side, you can also observe with the help of this diagram. Here the right side of the heart has deoxygenated blood. This deoxygenated blood must be purified. So it's pumped into the pulmonary arc and then pumped towards the lungs for the purification. Here you can also observe right side of the heart, it pumps the blood to the lungs. Here it gets oxygenated and purified, and then it returns back to the heart, left side of the heart. In this circulation, only it covers one part of the body, that is lungs. That's why this circulation is called pulmonary circulation. Now, the left side of the heart gets the oxygenated blood. This blood is pumped by the heart through the aorta, then aorta divided into arteries and arterioles, then capillary, and each capillary supply the oxygenated blood to all body parts other than lungs. Okay, then oxygen is distributed to each and every cell and carbon dioxide is collected. These capillary join together and form venules. Venules join together to form vein, and veins join together to form the bigger vein known as vena cava, and it brings deoxygenated blood back to the right side of the heart. As it covers only all body parts other than lungs, this circulation is called systemic circulation. So from here, single blood that moves from the right side, then it pumped to the lungs, return back, this is first circulation. Same blood pumped by the heart again to the other parts of the body and return back to the heart, second circulation. That's why in human beings it is called double circulation. Then the question arises, is there any kind of circulation also take place in other organisms? Then answer is yes, it is single circulation, and the best examples are fishes. Fishes have two-chambered heart, and in case of fishes, the heart pumps blood to the gills. Here the diffusion of gases, exchange of gases take place, and oxygenated blood distribute to the each and every part of the body and then return back to the heart. So in this way, there is only once the blood move from the heart to complete one cycle, and that's why it is called as single circulation. This is all about the transportation in human being.